Good morning and welcome back to another episode here from the Off-Grid Garage. Today with a very serious and sad topic. It is about our existing battery here, which we are still using. I've got serious concerns about battery number 6, 7 and 8. You know from my previous videos that these three cells were always like the weakest ones. They always peaked with high voltage when charging and always were low voltage when discharging. And we know the positive terminal of cell number 6 is half stripped. So only the bottom part of this terminal is actually holding the screw and holding down the bus bar. And I haven't touched it since at all. And it is still in the same position. So it's early in the morning, 9:20, and you can see we are charging with almost 3 kilowatt already. 2.1 are going into the battery. So 37 amps, 41 amps, it's increasing now. We will get around 50, 60 amps today. It's a sunny, hot day here in Australia. And I want to show you something. Okay, we are now looking at our battery here through the infrared camera. What we can see is here on the left, of course, is the BMS with its turned on relay, which is fairly hot. But we can also see a bus bar there with 40 degrees. But if we go a little bit further down, we can see cell number 6 has completely heated up on the positive terminal already. And this is with almost 30 amps now. There's not much difference between the bus bars at the moment here, but we just got started with the sun, right? So I will monitor the situation here during the day. We have here cell number 6 there, cell number 7, and at the end cell number 8. So you can see number 6 is already warm. It is warmer than the other cells. Everything else is cold. Cell number 6 has already heated up. Okay, let's give this another 1-2 hours and then we check again and compare the pictures. So it is now 11 o'clock and we can see that cell number 6 has heated up, and also the cable from one side, from the upper side of the cells here to the underside, has heated up as well. But I know this for a while. This was one of my first crimps and obviously it wasn't the best one. But you can see how the heat actually spreads into the cells. It is not just the connection where the bus bar hits the terminal, it's the whole surface of the battery cells which is heating up. So, and you can see all the other bus bars as well. They are getting warm a little bit, but not by much. But cell number 6 definitely with 39, 40 degrees now. Terminal temperature, this is our faulty terminal. Okay, we keep monitoring this during the day here and see what temperatures we actually reach, and we will see how far this all goes. Also here a quick look inside the electrical cabinet. We can see the circuit breakers at the top above the solar charge controllers are actually super hot, because these are only 25 amp circuit breakers, DC circuit breakers, but I'm actually using the 25 amp at the moment. We are going into the battery with over 50 amps, 60 amps sometimes, and I'm exceeding the 25 amps for the circuit breakers. So they are, thermally very hot, but they are getting replaced soon, and then we should have no problem anymore. Yeah guys, isn't that insane? So here's the battery box again. And here's our 6, 7 and 8, and this is obviously the cable which is getting hot here. Well, it's actually hand warm, I would say. And all these ones, they are cool. The batteries are cool. But I can feel number 5, and then number 6 is definitely warmer. 7 is not as warm as 6. And 8 is warm as well. So you can definitely feel a difference between 3, 4, 5 and then 6. Oh yeah, that's warmer. 7 is warm, 8 is warm, 9 is cooler again, 10 is cooler. Yep, they are all cool. Yeah, and then here the bus bar, we know this terminal is stripped here halfway, so this one gets actually pretty warm here, but you can still touch it. Like the other ones are cold, but this one definitely has an issue. What a nightmare. Okay, this is actually an interesting picture because I still have the lid on the battery box. And we can see on the left is the BMS with the relay, and then we can see 2 more hotspots on the right, which is our cell number 6 and potentially 7, 8 and the connection cable to 9. That is insane. Okay, let's take the lid off. And it recalibrates now. And here we can see the whole disaster. I'm going a little bit closer with the camera. So we are actually focusing on this corner. You can see these top 3 batteries, how warm these batteries are. And look at all the other batteries. The bus bars are a bit warm, a bit warmer. But 6, 7 and 8 is the whole battery which is warm. And obviously number 6 has the faulty terminal, which has 44 degrees now. And also the terminal from cell number 8 to number 9, the cable on the right, is pretty hot because of the bad crimping I did, obviously. Yeah, and this is exactly what I have experienced in the last couple of days since I got the thermal camera here. 6, 7 and 8 are heating up entirely. Not just the terminals, they're heating up entirely. And we have now 12:30. So we give it another couple of hours. We are charging with around 40-50 amps at the moment. It's nice and sunny outside. But look at this picture. So I would say we have definitely faulty cells here, 6, 7 and 8. This is not normal. Okay, we keep back checking at about 3 o'clock and see what the actual temperatures do. It is now 2:30 in the afternoon. And I've got the lid closed again here to simulate what's going to happen when I'm at work. Because every time I come home and open the battery lid here, it's boiling hot inside. And I was wondering why. Because the batteries itself shouldn't take much heat. And you can see all the batteries around 6, 7 and 8 are pretty much cool. Number 5 is warming up a little bit, but only because 6 is really getting hot. And here you can see what the situation is I find usually when I come home then. 6, 7 and 8 are hot. We have 55 degrees at the positive terminal of cell number 6. So the battery still gets hammered with 40-50 amps now in the afternoon. And this is the problem. So it is now 3:30 and we have, well, almost cloudy weather. There's a bit of blue, but I haven't seen sunshine here for a while now. I still want to test the battery again and see how warm it actually is. I'll start the recording here on the mobile phone now. Yeah, we can see it has cooled down a little bit. If you look at this picture here, you can still see where the heat is being generated, right? Number 6, 7 and 8 are so hot. They are really standing out here in this pack, and all the other cells are cool. There you can see it. Well, so now, yeah, obviously this is a big problem here I have for a while and wasn't quite aware. I touched the bus bars from time to time when there was enough sun out there, or when I charged the car, had the pool pump running and the irrigation pump running, so I was really using a lot of energy in or out of the battery, and I could feel there was a bit of heat generated in this area, but I wasn't aware that it's that bad. So we need to take this battery offline as soon as possible, and we want to measure all these cells individually, especially 6, 7 and 8, which are causing trouble for quite Well, since the beginning, actually, since the beginning, it was always 6, 7 and 8. But I don't want to use any of these batteries anymore for the time being. We have the other pack sitting there, so this will go into our battery shelf first. And I have also ordered another 32 batteries, thankfully last year, when prices were still kind of low-ish. So now I have read all your comments under my community post with the picture of the infrared camera here of my battery. And a lot of people have said, well, solder the cables, don't crimp, solder the cables to overcome these crimping issues. As I said in this post as well, this was one of my first crimps ever with the hydraulic crimper. And I think I crimped this one only once, not twice. And potentially have used the cheap ring lugs as well and used a 35mm die. And they don't work quite well. I really have to use a 25mm die in this case, which crimps it far tighter. And then we wouldn't have these issues. Maybe I can just re-crimp this one with a 25mm and then make another test and see if it makes any difference at all. But yeah, to talk about this soldering, I'm not a fan of soldering these power connections at all. Usually you don't do this in high amp applications, installations. You always crimp. They're not getting soldered. Soldering is good for electronics, for low amp applications and installations, but not for high amp. High amp, I would say everything above 50 amps would be a high amp application. The reason you should not solder your connections is, of course, you're adding another layer of material inside your connection. You've got your copper ring lug, you've got your solder material, and then you have your copper cable. So in between your copper cable and the ring lug is another material. And this acts as another layer of resistance, and it can also crack. Especially in these higher amp applications, you should be very careful. It can cause issues down the track. What looks like a fantastic connection at the beginning can be very problematic down the track. The reason for that is micro cracks. The solder can get brittle, and the reason for this is you've got 2 different or 3 different materials. Well, not different materials, but you've got copper, then your solder, and then copper again. And what happens when these connections are heating up because of the additional resistance, or if you push a lot of current through them, 100, 150, 200 amps, especially in 12 volt applications, you're dealing with 200 amps easily. The problem here is the different heat expansion. Copper and solder material, a zinc lead combination, whatever other stuff they mix in there, have different thermal expansions. So, and then if the cable gets cold and hot again and cold and hot again, it expands in different ways. And over time, it can cause micro cracks in your solder. And what this does, it increases the resistance even more. And more resistance is more heat. And this can go as far as the solder actually melts inside your cable ring lug. And then if you have any mechanical force on the cable, it can actually pull out the cable of the ring lug. And then some people say, well, the real deal is you do both. You do a soldering and a crimping. But if you solder first and then crimp, there's no way you can actually do a nice crimp. Because if you remember, I have shown you this cable lug here, which I cut open. And if you imagine there is now solder in between, you will never be able to get such a nice crimp. These single strands of your cable will never come together like this here if there is solder in between. So I would really say leave the soldering for your electronic stuff and do a proper crimping on your other cables for your solar applications. But this is just me. Leave all your comments down below as always. I'm happy to have a discussion about that and read all your comments. Yeah, okay guys, I just wanted to show you the battery under the thermal camera today and the issues I have seen now for a couple of days now when I used this camera here. And I was quite shocked that 6, 7 and 8 is actually getting so hot inside this box now, and all the other cells are staying cool. So there's definitely something we need to do about it, and we will very soon. But I'm still waiting for material to redesign all this. I especially don't want to start with the old charge controllers again. I have ordered larger ones which can cope with more solar, because we want to expand the solar on the east and west roof here as well. And also cater for 2 more solar charge controllers and more distribution channels there. So this is all coming along slowly at the moment. I would really like to start right now, but hopefully next weekend we have more luck and we've got all the stuff here, and I've got a 3-day weekend next week, so we can really push in and redesign the whole wall here and make this all beautiful again and working for us. Okay guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your support here. Thanks for all the beer donors. It's especially nice in this hot weather now. And until the next video guys, stay charged and thank you for watching again. See you then. Bye bye.